Hey everyone, and welcome back to the second lecture of CloudWatch logs. So in this lecture, we'll do the practical session and we'll look into how we can push the logs from the Linux servers to the CloudWatch group. So in order to do that, what we'll be doing is let's switch to the Oregon region where I have my EC2 instance up and running. So let me just quickly show you. So we have one EC2 instance which is up and running in the Oregon region. And what we'll be doing is we will be pushing the logs which are generated in this EC2 instance to a central CloudWatch log group. Perfect. So the very first thing that you would need to do is you would have to allow this EC2 instance to create the log group and push the logs there. So let me just show you an example on what do I mean by this. So if you go to the CloudWatch console, and go to the logs, you see there is a log group which is created by the name varlog messages. And within this log group, there are a lot of log messages which are created. So in order for the EC2 instance to create the log group and push the logs to the log group which is created, we need to allow that EC2 instance to do these things. So the very first thing that we have to do is we have to create a IAM role policy that allows EC2 to achieve those use cases. So let's go ahead and do that. So if I go to the IAM role, let's create a new inline policy over here. I'll select the JSON, and from the documentation itself, they have already given a policy document. So within the policy document, you have see the first action is create log group. So this is the first thing that it needs to do. Then there is one more action like put log events. So this allows to put the log events from the system to the log group which is created. So we'll use this policy. I'll be pasting this in the resource section, so you can just copy it as well. So we'll take this policy. I'll review the policy quickly. And I'll name it as CloudWatch logs. Quickly click on create policy. Perfect. So now we have a policy which allows EC2 instance to create a log group and push the events to that created log groups. Perfect. So now that we have done that, let's go to the CloudWatch console again. This time we'll, since we are working in the Oregon region, we'll be looking into the logs here. So now you see there are no log groups which are created. Perfect. So what we'll do, we'll be creating our first log group. Now, before we do that, we have to install a CloudWatch agent in the server, and that agent is basically responsible for pushing the logs. So if you do yum install AWS logs, so this is the agent which we need to install. Now I am running Amazon Linux, so this agent is directly available from the yum repository itself. If you're using some different operating system, you can go through the documentation and they have a different approach to achieve the same. So now that I have AWS logs installed, let's quickly verify the status of AWS logs, and AWS logs is top. Perfect. So the very first thing that we'll do is we'll go to the configuration directory of AWS logs, and there are two important configuration files that we need to work into. The first is AWS CLI.conf, and this is the place where we can specify the region where the log group will be created. So what I'll do is perfect. So let me change the region from US East 1 to US West 2, which is the Oregon region where we are working in. Once you have configured the AWS CLI.conf, let's quickly also explore the AWS logs.conf. And if you go a bit down, here you will see that there is one configuration store which is configured, which is for var log messages, and the log group name which will be created is var log messages. So here we can add more log files, like if you have an application log file, so we can add more log files over here. So what I'll do, let's leave it to the default configuration one, and I'll do service AWS logs start. Perfect. So now that AWS logs have started, you can look into the progress related to AWS logs within the var log directory, where you can do tailf AWS logs.log. So this is the log file for the AWS log agent which is running in the EC2 instance. So once the configuration file has been configured, now you see that you have a new log group which is created, which is var log messages, and within this log group you have all the log files which belongs to the files which is specified within the AWS logs.conf. So one important thing that I'd like to show you is that generally when you specify various log files, so here you have var log messages, you might even have var log application as well. So generally it is recommended to have a different log group name. Now, once you have a different log group name, what you can actually do is you can restrict the permission associated with each log group. So this var log messages is not required for developers. This is more required for the system administrator. So you can create a policy where only system administrator can read the messages within the var log messages log group. Similarly, if you have some application specific log group, you can create a policy where only certain developers who are involved within that application team can access the log files within that log group. So these policies can be defined if you have a separate log groups which are created. So this is it about this lecture. I hope this has been informative for you, and I look forward to see you in the next lecture.